Somebody's asking about Atom. I will do short-term and mid-term price action analysis on Atom. Let's dive into it. It went past my targets by a little bit, but that is not uncommon for freaking Atom. All right, so it came out of the descending channel, hit an origin line on the head. Hit it on the head. Wow. Interesting. Huh. Okay. So it would have been freaking easier had I just deleted this descending channel. Because it broke right out of it. Did it just invalidate it? I'm going to do this for Atom. So you have a couple things going on here. You have a descending channel, which it spent a lot of time in, but you also have these origin lines, which clearly are working better. Two different types of structural analyses here. And again, these blue lines I call origin lines. You'll only find them on my channel for people watching the recording of this. I might want to make these lines a different color, but they work. And honestly, I don't know why they work. They still baffle me, but they just work, so I use them, and I call them origin lines. All right, so that's what those are. But I'm going to make a trading channel out of which it floated. That's the point of control. And then here's the midpoint. And another midpoint. There's your range. Okay. So you have two things in play. You just watched me draw the trading channel. As of now, I think it's a little wiser just to use origin lines for guidance, but I would have that trading channel there. And again, I've made on my Learn Trading Basics playlist on my channel, I made a video how to set up your chart. I'm pretty sure it's in the tags how to use the object tree, so you can do this as well. But I would set that up, but make it disappear. I would refer back to it. The channel will become more useful once price falls back into it, obviously, right? But as of now, this isn't quite as helpful. I think the origin lines without that is going to be a little bit more helpful. But if Atom decides to get a little weak and falls and uses this as resistance, that will initiate a move to the point of control. So you need to be aware of that. But it is far away from happening. I mean, Atom is in a strong trend. It has a good chance of using this line as support, right? It has a good chance of using it as support. So it might not fall back into this channel, but at least the top line of this channel is probably going to be pretty useful. And then if it falls below and use it as resistance, then the whole channel itself will be useful. All right, but for now, so let me zoom out. So in case you want to draw that channel and put it in an object tree and make it disappear until you need it, this, I'm going to make myself small or invisible, Harry Potter cloak. So this goes back to October here, late October. And I'm on the 4-hour chart if you want to try making this same channel. All right. And then I'm going to take this guy off. Actually, you know what? I might leave it on for a second. Let's see if we get some confluence there. So let's say that it takes a while to hit here. I will put a pin in it. Actually, no, I will just create a line like this. I will draw over it. And now I'll get rid of it and put my origin lines back on. If it hits the top of that channel, it's got a strong chance of doing it when an origin line crosses it. So around, and I know that sounds weird, and I know you can't time the market, but one of the best tools to try to time things is when things cross with origin lines. Like, you can't time the market, but this is like the best shot you got. Or sometimes EMA crosses help as well. So we'll throw on something here, but it might take, how many days would this be? That's 19 days. So on October 3rd, I can see it at $9.94. That's not a bad guess. It could be a lot lower, but if it is lower, then you want to use that's when you put the trading channel back on, because then that's going to become more relevant than these origin lines. Is it making sense? So it's kind of hard to analyze this because I don't know if it's going to break back in or not. But I'm giving you the tools and giving you the know on how to do your own TA there once the time calls for it. So I would say that, honestly, this origin line has a solid chance of being used as support for quite a while. So I would, you don't have to do all origin lines, but what I would recommend doing is zooming out at least on the 1 hour chart and taking a look at the yearly lows on June 17th and making the same trend line as I have. Initiation to downside moves is not going to happen until this line is both broken and used as resistance. And it's ascending, so it's going to happen, right? But you're not going to get a stronger move to the downside on Atom until those two things have happened at that line. Broken and used as resistance. And used as resistance could happen in 1 hour. So you'll want to go into the 5-minute candles. Why am I pointing to my head for 5 minutes? Maybe I have 5-minute candles in my head. 5-minute candles, small candles to be able to see it. And I'll show you an example here. I would assume that, let me zoom in a little bit. Like these wicks down here, as it came down, it did not use this as resistance specifically. So let's go down to the 5-minute candle, make myself small so I can show you some examples here. Okay. It's the same line that I've asked you to draw. It technically used it a little as resistance, but boom, resistance, got above, went below, got right back above, then went straight back to support. See that? So it could, zoom around it for a little bit, but until you see resistance, and then it breaks the local lows, I think it's fairly safe at this line. All right, I gotta wrap up after this one. So it did use it as resistance, but it did not take out this low. Do you see that? And that's what I talk about a lot of my channels. Even more important than 4-hour candle closures below line. That stuff doesn't work anymore. Daily closures, because it just creates fake outs. I'm telling you. It's structure below resistance and support that works. Sometimes you'll get fake outs there too. But the whole closure deal above and below key lines, traditional finance is taking full-blown advantage of that and using it to set you up. So this is what is way more certain. Like that's good free information, if I may say. So, and this is a perfect example. So yes, this was used as resistance, but you made a higher low and you never took out that low. So had it taken out this low, it came below the same origin line we're focusing on. It did use it as resistance, but the time you would accelerate is if you take out the original low that it came down before using it as resistance. Am I making sense? So it would have accelerated here. Boom. That's when it would have really gone down after using it as resistance and taking out the low, if I could be specific. All right. So it wiggled its way back above that origin line. All right. And then what's going to happen here? So once again, it made a local low going under the same origin line, used it as resistance, but it never took out that low. Are you seeing that? Here, let me zoom in. And this is the 5-minute chart on the same origin line that we're going to be dealing with here shortly. You made a local low coming under the origin line. Resistance at the origin line, you used a higher low, never took out that low. Therefore, it had a chance to get back above. All right, so you're looking for not that if price is going to accelerate to the downside. So Atom honestly is strong. It's going to be okay. I mean, even if it comes all the way down to 1130, or 1140, it's still okay. It has a strong chance of using this as support. And if you zoom into the 5-minute candles, if it overshoots it, so let's like zoom in here. If it overshoots that, let's just say it goes way down here. If it overshoots it, it's going to make its first local low, right? And then it'll potentially use it as resistance. But if it never takes out that low, it's got another chance to go back above and make another lower high. But it's the point where it uses that origin line as resistance and takes out that local low. Boom. That's when you're going to get some more aggressive downside targets. But until that happens, I think Atom's going to stay strong. So I was a little scatterbrained during this because I hadn't looked at Atom for a while and it's being really strong. But that origin line right there, I would recommend drawing it on your chart. It's going to be very, very integral for, Atom price probably through, maybe even as long as October. It's going to be the line to be looking at, and it's not a horizontal. That's Atom, and I got to go because my wife is not happy.